Guys, so what we're going to do now is add a bit more detail into our plan for our house. So we're going to add the external walls into the model as external walls as a brick and block, traditional brick and block wall. Again, in Revit, in the actual version of Revit or the actual template of Revit, these have it has pre-built or preset wall types. Here, we're going to create one from scratch, which is somewhat more advanced if you think about it. But yeah, we'll give it a go. Um, I said you don't have to do this if you don't want, but it's worth having a play about with some of the options here to create a new wall type. Okay, so now up till now we've only been using a simple concept wall, 300 wide. What we're going to do now is just double click on ground floor. You click on any of the external walls, and then you'll see now we've only got properties on the properties panel. We've only got a basic wall concept 300. What we want to do now is edit the type. So we want to create our own type. So if you go to edit type, and your one might not be like that, your one might be like this. You want to duplicate it. So if you click on duplicate, so what we don't want to do is edit the original one that I've had created for this template. You want to create your own version. So if you go to duplicate, rename it what you want. So I'll say brick block 300 ext. So that's my naming for that one. So I know what it is. Click OK. I'll move this one to one side. If you click on this preview, it'll give you a preview of the wall, so you can bring that into shot there. So what we're going to do is create a traditional brick and block. So I'll just bring this into my screen just now. So a traditional brick and block would typically have plasterboard internally, so 12.5mm plasterboard internal, a brick inner leaf, a block inner leaf, so about 100mm block work, 100mm insulation cavity, 100mm of brickwork on the outside. Okay, so that's a basic level. That's what we're creating. Obviously, you can adjust this. You can create as if you have a specific wall type, you can have a go at trying to create a specific wall type for yourself and add it into different layers. But for now, for simplicity, we'll just create a simple wall with brick and block with insulation in the cavity and a plasterboard internal line. Okay, so I'll just move that back away from the screen. So here we've just got a single concept 300 wall. Okay, so what we need to do is edit all the pieces within that. So we'll click on structure, edit. Okay, within here, you've got a couple of things. So we've got the function. Okay, so the function is the function of each layer. Okay, so you can see there's structure, substructure, thermal insulation, finish one, finish two, membrane layer. So within each of your layers of a wall, you've got to specify what kind of function it has, because Revit needs to understand that. One key thing is if there is any errors coming in is because you've layered these wrong. Okay, so ideally you should start in the middle with one and then work your way out towards the larger numbers 4 and 5. So the whole idea is that the Revit understands that the wall is built from the inner structural core. Okay, the structural core being the core boundary. So core boundary refers to the structural core of a wall. So where do you want to find that? Within a traditional brick and block wall, the core would typically be probably the block work, which is the load bearing part of the wall. So that's how that's defined. But your wall might be different for different wall types that you create. But the core boundary is typically seen as being what you define as being the core of your wall. The material, again, you can specify material. So if you click on the material, the three little dots should appear. If you click on the three little dots, it gives you all the materials, so you can search for different materials, which we'll do in a bit. But you can search for different materials to put into your different layers. Cancel there. Again, the thickness is quite important as well, so you need to specify the thickness as you go along. Okay, so we'll start here with our core, so that structural core. If I click on the three little dots, I'll go to block work. Click on the block work and click OK. Now I want to make that 100. Enter. Click enter, and that changes that. So you can see there, that's my block work created. To add a new layer in, if you go to insert, now here's is quite important. So up here is towards the external side, down here is towards the internal side. Okay, so that's how you build up your wall. So as from your structural core boundary, you either go outside or inside with the layers. This one is going to be my plasterboard, so in order to move that down, if you go along here and make sure that one's selected, click down and down, and then I'm going to change that to finish because it's a finish of the internal surface. Change that to plasterboard or gypsum wallboard. Click OK, and we'll change that to 12.5 millimeters. So everything's in millimeters here as well. See, that's added in my 12.5 millimeter plasterboard in the inside. Again, I'm going to add a new layer, and then I'm going to move that up now. So this is on the other side of the wall. So I'll bring my example back in so you can see what that looks like. So we've done the plasterboard, brickwork, so now we've got the insulation coming in. So insulation would be under thermal and air layer. So that's what typically you put that under that category. Again, material, if you go click on the three dots, type in insulation. And it gives you a lot of insulation types. I'm just going to click on cavity fill insulation, but you can pick your own type of insulation. Click OK. Again, we'll make that 100 mil. That adds insulation. Again, the final layer is brick, so that's going to be a finish on the external. So make sure that's not the same finish as the other one, but obviously this one's 5, so make sure that's different. Again, click on the material, and then we'll choose brick. So you can pick any type of brick that you want. So we'll just go common brick. Click OK. And then thickness, pick that as 100. And then you'll see now we've got the same wall as that. So we've got the plasterboard, blockwork, inner layer, insulation, and then brickwork outer for the finish. Once that's done, click OK. And click OK again. You can change all your walls together. So if you click on, if you zoom out, if you click on on the old type of wall, so any type of wall, you'll see here this is the old external concept wall. If you type SA, so that'll select all my external walls of the same type, and then change that to your one that you just created. So I've created one called brick and block external 300. Change it to that one, and that'll be changed. Okay. In order to view it, obviously, if you go 3D, you can see which ones are viewed in. So it should all now be brick. If you're not seeing the color, if you change it, if you go down here under the second box, which is visual styles, make sure that is clicked on to shaded. And because if it's not, you might see just black and white still. Make sure that's shaded. If you're not seeing any color, you should see the brick color come through. If you zoom in, you'll see the brick appear as well. If I rotate this, you'll see it's all the way around. It's brick. Okay. Another thing we're going to do is, if you go back to my ground floor, I'm going to add in. So just now we're not able to see the detail in the wall. Again, if this was a concept plan, that's fine. But if you want to show the detail of the wall, you can do as well, because the detail is there, but it's just hidden behind this view. So in order to change that, well, what we can do is if we go towards the detail level, it's set to coarse. If you go to fine, you'll see now it will show all the brick layers of the brick and the blockwork and the cavity insulation and all that kind of stuff. So it'll show the detail, so it starts to look more like a construction plan, because it's all the information is there. It's just hidden from view. Again, depending on the scale of the model, on the scale of the output, you might want to change that back to coarse. But for now, because it's 1:50, I'm happy that fine you'll be able to see that in your printed view. So if I zoom out, so that's how you create a new wall type. Now you can create multiple wall types. You can have a go at creating internal wall types. You can have a go at creating different types of wall types if you want. I'll leave that to you to have a play about with the settings in wall build-ups, especially if you are from construction. You can try and make some own ones for yourself. Again, elevations, they should you can adjust them as well here. So if you go to shaded, and that will put the brick in as well. So that will put the brick into there as well. Now it's the same process for creating roofs, internal walls, that kind of stuff. For now, we're not going to do the roof, which can leave that white, but you can have a go at the roof. Same principles apply, inside to outside, core surface, or the core boundary is set by the structural part of the roof. But for now, I'm leaving my one there for now. We'll look at the roof one in more detail in the advanced tutorials, but same process of doing that. So you can have a go at that if you so wish. Again, set that to shaded. I'll set that to shaded. So now, once you've done all that, you can go back to your sheets, which you should have created in the last tutorial, And you'll see now all that's been updated to show you the materials on the plans, as well as the material on the elevation. So you can see that details coming through now, and the details on the actual building itself. Another advanced thing you can do in Revit is to create sections. So a section, if you're not from industry, is basically a cut through the building at a certain point, so you can see the inside of the building. It's very powerful in the fact that you can see different parts of the building when you cut a building, slice a building in multiple places. So in order to create a section, it's quite simple. If you go to your ground floor, or any floor, to be honest, you go ground floor. If you go to view, and then section, I'll zoom out here so you can see it, section. I typically take a section within the staircase because it's quite interesting. Rather take a section or the cut through the building where it's interesting to see something, whether it's through openings or doors and windows, whether it's through staircases. It just gives you a bit more interest when you're looking at the section. I wouldn't take one through a wall because it's not really the most exciting view to see. So I'm going to take mine through my staircase here. So in order to start the section, if you click on outside the building, drag the line, the horizontal line, through the building to the outside. So that's your section line. It's viewing the wrong way because this arrow indicates that it's viewing it this way. We want to view it this way, so you can see the doors and that kind of stuff. So you can flip it around whichever way you want. So, and then if you extend the little dash line using the little arrow tabs here to the external wall, that's the view range, okay? And that's you create your section. Now, where does that go now? So in Revit, once you create a section and once you create any new view, it actually creates a view, that view in your project browser. So now you should see in your project browser, sections should appear. You click on that, extend that, and then there you go. That's your section that you just create. That's a cut through your building. That shows your stairs. That shows your rooms, and then your roof and the ceilings and that kind of stuff. It also shows your windows and the brick details. So again, it gives you another view to add to your sheets. Again, you can tidy this up. It's got the crop box shown, so you can actually just tidy this up, bring it in to where you want it. Hide the crop box. You can hide the levels if you want. So hide category. You've got this detail section there. Again, you can change your view to fine, so that will show you your wall detail. Again, if you do the floor, same thing. You can do the floors if you want. Same thing applies to in creating your customized floors by updating layers and adding different layers to create your floor types. And that's your section now created. Same thing applies. You can take that to your sheet. If I make mine, if I just change mine to 1 to 100 for my elevations, and then 1 to 100 to fit this on. If I go back to my plans, so I'll delete these quickly and bring them back in. Front elevation, and rear elevation. You can be a bit more precise than this. I'm just bringing them in. And then if I bring in my section, which is here, it's my section. Again, I don't necessarily want to see that section line in my first floor. So if I go my first floor, I can hide that. So right click, hide in view elements. So that will hide that. The section is still there. It just means I only ever need to see it once, if I'm being honest. There's different styles of this as well. Again, you can adjust that here as well. You can see there's a bit of overlap there. It doesn't look nice to look at. So if I go back to my ground floor plan, again, you can click on that and bring that back in a bit. Just make it a bit more cleaner. Go back to my plans. Looks a bit more tidier. Yeah, that's how you create a section. So another view to add to your range of views. Again, you can add other elevations. I've only added 2 in there, but you can add other elevations as well. And that's my sheet as it stands just now.